payment made to adult film star Stormy Daniels. CBS News anchor Anne-Marie Green has a story.
President Trump's admission that he foot the bill for hush money to porn star Stormy Daniels after initially denying he even knew about it raises questions both legal and political. Mr. Trump's attorney says he violated no campaign finance laws, but the admission may have exposed Mr. Trump to other legal liabilities and apparently caught much of his own staff off guard.
The North Carolina Highway Patrol says a 5-month-old boy is among 3 people killed in a fiery crash. Anthony Castillo of Warsaw was killed Wednesday night in the crash in Duplin County, as were Nicolette Nelson and 33-year-old David Jones, both of Pink Hill. A dozen Wilmington students demanding stricter gun laws took their concerns to Congressman David Rouser. Rouser hosted a meeting with the students from New Hanover County Schools on Thursday. Hoggard High School student Vivian Hornstein told Spectrum News she has real safety concerns.
There's just been so much happening that my head's spinning at this point, and I need something concrete. I need to know that I can be safe at school.
Hundreds of thousands of Arizona school children can go back to class now that the legislature has passed an educational funding deal, ending a 6-day walkout that shuttered classrooms around the state. Noah Corvallis with the Arizona Educators United says they need to also fund the schools. They didn't do that before.
We're going to continue our quest for the schools that our students deserve. We're going to go to the ballot with an initiative and put in front of the voters for $700 million to invest in our schools.
State officials say that flu-related deaths in North Carolina have reached a modern-day record this season. 1 person died from the flu this past week, bringing the total for the state this season to 379 deaths. You're listening to NCN News.
It took forever to get the car I really wanted. Now that I got it, I'm doing everything to keep it looking even better than the day I bought it, from the dashboard to the tires. That's why I use 303 Automotive Premium Protectants and Cleaners to keep my baby looking like a show car now and down the road. For my dream car, it's TLC with 303.
Available at most auto parts retailers or visit 303radio.com.
Who is the North Carolina High School Athletic Association?
We're dedicated educators, coaches, and mentors.
We are over 200,000 student athletes.
We are 413 member high schools from small towns and big cities, anywhere from Murphy to Manteo.
We're your neighbors and friends that put on the striped shirts and officiate the games you love every week.
We are making a difference in building leaders of communities and this nation for the next generation.
Who are we? We are high school. We are the NCHSAA.
A North Carolina college fraternity has been suspended after a 20-year-old student died when she fell from a party bus and was hit by 2 cars. The Kappa Sigma fraternity at the University of North Carolina at Charlotte is suspended pending an investigation into the death of Polly Rogers. The fired house chaplain has been unfired. More from CBS News correspondent Peter King.
The Reverend Pat Conroy has rescinded his forced resignation letter. House Speaker Paul Ryan says he's accepted it after earlier saying he was unhappy with what he called Conroy's pastoral care of House members. Conroy says he never heard any complaints, but he claims that one of Ryan's aides told him maybe it was time for a chaplain that wasn't Catholic. That came after a prayer on the tax law that some may have seen as political. Ryan hasn't answered that, but says they'll talk. Peter King, CBS News.
Wilson police are searching for the person responsible after a 9-year-old boy was shot in the face. It happened at a home on Stantonsburg Road. Bullet holes were visible and a wall and window was broken. Surveillance video captured the incident. And neighbor Tim Curran tells ABC 11 he's concerned.
That was really sad. And I mean, that was the worst part about it, was that it might have been, and I was saying, were they aiming for the house or was it just a drive-by? Because if it was just a random gunshot, it could have hit any one of us. And it's so sad that it was a little boy.
Pathologists are running genetic tests on a benign tumor freshly removed from a woman to try to find out why it grew so quickly. CBS News correspondent Jim Shenefey has that.
A 38-year-old Connecticut woman went to the doctor after she began gaining weight fast, 10 pounds a week over a 2-month period. Surgeons at Danbury Hospital removed a 132-pound ovarian tumor in a 5-hour operation. Despite her weight gain, the patient was also malnourished because the huge tumor was sitting on her digestive tract.
Mike Rayleigh, NCN.
Get your message to the thousands. Call the WCAB Sales Department today at 287-3356.
From ABC News.
I'm Sherry Preston. Police in Chicago hunting right now for a suspect after an ATF agent was shot in the head. ABC's Ryan Burrow is there.
A Chicago police spokesman tweeting out a statement saying agents and CPD officers were working a federal investigation when the ATF agent was shot and critically wounded in the city's back of the yards neighborhood. It happened just after 3 a.m. Police not saying if anyone was in custody. The ATF sending out an alert this morning confirming one of its on-duty officers was shot and wounded. Ryan Burrow, ABC News, Chicago.
Lava from the erupting Kilauea volcano in Hawaii now threatening hundreds of homes, including Joseph Clapper's.
It's right there behind our house. We could hear the lava exploding right from the house.
Hawaii's governor has ordered nearly 2,000 people to evacuate their homes. Sources are telling ABC News that federal investigators have been tracking the calls of longtime Donald Trump lawyer Michael Cohen.
Before the raid on his home and office, federal investigators had been keeping track in real time of who Michael Cohen was calling and who was calling him. This was not a wiretap. The feds were not listening to the conversations, but they were able to see incoming and outgoing phone numbers and the duration of each call. It's called a pen register and requires a judge's authorization.
ABC's Aaron Katursky in New York. The president heads to Dallas today to speak to the NRA.
Mr. Mayor, this motion passes.
Planning for this event began in 2012 when the city of Dallas waived the six-figure fee that's normally charged for rental of the Kay Bailey Hutchison Convention Center in order to convince the NRA to come. That was long before the 2016 ambush a few blocks from there.
5 officers were slain in our streets.
Minister Jeff Hood.
And President Trump is going to come to this city and talk about guns?
In fact, he is, and so is Vice President Mike Pence.
That's ABC's Jim Ryan. Labor Department releases jobs numbers this hour. This is ABC News.
Are you a small business owner in need of cash to fund payroll, buy new equipment, or expand your business? Has your local bank turned you down? Have you been told no when you really need to hear yes? Get cash to run your business right now. Just call Strategic Funding and get a yes today. Call 800-211-6587. That's 800-211-6587. If you've been in business for at least 1 year, have annual revenue of $150,000 or more, Strategic Funding can provide you with up to $500,000. Our unique financing service will get you the cash you want with flexible payment plans, personalized to fit your specific needs. Call now, 800-211-6587. That's 800-211-6587. Growing your business just got a whole lot easier with a strategic funding approval in as little as 1 day. For a free no obligation quote, call 800-211-6587.
There will be no Nobel Prize handed out for literature this year. ABC's Tom Rivers at the Foreign Desk says it's all because of a string of scandals.
Anders Olsen from the Swedish Academy says confidence is now so low in the body that the decision not to award this year is the right one. The Academy is facing sex abuse allegations and other issues that have badly affected its public image. Its handling of the various allegations has simply shredded its credibility. It's the first time since World War II that the prestigious annual award is not being handed out. Tom Rivers, ABC News at the Foreign Desk.
A Miami police officer is now under investigation after he was caught on video kicking a suspect in the head while that man was being held on the ground by another officer. ABC's Victor Oquendo.
That officer has been relieved of duty but not fired. He's been suspended pending an investigation. As for the suspect, police call him a habitual traffic offender. He's facing charges including eluding police and grand theft.
New hope today that 3 Americans being held in North Korea might be released soon. All 3 have said to have been moved out of a labor camp and into a medical facility in North Korea. And in Boston, robots are now cooking. A restaurant called Spice, S-P-Y-C-E, has given 7 cooking pots that work their own, cooking and vegging and grains, and then they dish them out. Even ordering is automated. Customers walk up, order everything on a touch screen through the robots. This is ABC News.
Do you owe the IRS more than $10,000? Do you have tax problems? Pick up your mobile phone and dial **1234 on your keypad. This is attorney John Buckmiller, founder of Attorneys Tax Relief. We have experts that know how to help you out of the mess with the IRS. We can help stop wage garnishment, levies, and harassment. Get out of debt and settle with the IRS. Remember, it's as easy as *1234. Don't wait any longer. Dial *1234. That's *1234 on your mobile phone now.
I'm Sherry Preston, ABC.
Spring is in the air, and if you find yourself in need of a new nebulizer,
remember Smith's Drugs. We have a variety of character nebulizers to help you take care of your breathing needs. We have fire trucks, trains, penguins, panda bears, and boring green ones too. Come see us at Home Medical Department at 139 East Main Street, Forest City.
Let Mom know just how special she really is. Take her out for a special treat at Don's Italian Restaurant. Enjoy a Mother's Day pizza buffet, pasta buffet, and dessert buffet. Sunday Mother's Day only. Each mom will receive a flower to help tell her just how special she really is. Let the friendly staff at Don's Italian say, "I love your mom," with a Mother's Day buffet Sunday, May the 13th from 11 until 3. That's Don's Italian, 619 Oakland Road in Spindale, or phone 828-288-3711.
Have you heard the 3 big lies about Medicaid eligibility? First, if you need a nursing home, Medicaid will take your house. That's not true. Second, if you transfer assets, you have to wait 60 months to qualify. That's not true. And third, if you're already in a nursing home, it's too late to protect your assets. That's not true. Please call attorneys Gerald N. Willis, Kent Baldwin, or Martin Gerard at the Arledge Law Firm for a free consultation and learn the truth about Medicaid and eligibility and nursing home care in North Carolina. It's more likely than you think that you may qualify and not lose everything you own. Call the Arledge Law Firm today at 287-3338, located on East Court Street in Rutherfordton. Again, that's 287-3338.
Hello, this is Dwayne Hunt with Insurance Service Associates. Are you on disability? Or maybe you're on Medicare, or maybe both. Come see me, Dwayne Hunt, at Insurance Service Associates about a Medicare Advantage product brought to you by Humana. Please give me a call, 245-5301, at Insurance Service Associates, 127 East Trade Street, Forest City.
North Carolina Tractor Supply, your Massey Ferguson dealer in Rutherfordton, has some really great ideas this year. This could be the year for you to get that Massey Ferguson you've been wanting. Stop by today and see what Massey Ferguson and Phil Sheehan at North Carolina Tractor Supply have for you. Check to see if you qualify for 0% financing. Today could be your day at North Carolina Tractor Supply, Railroad Avenue, Rutherfordton.
We're happy to announce beginning Sunday morning we're adding a new program to our lineup of religious programs on Sunday morning at 10:30. It'll be Because of Calvary, led by Brother James Calloway. New program starting Sunday morning, 10:30. Be sure to join us and hear that program. The interview with Sheriff Chris Francis coming up in just a moment.
That high-pressure ridge that's been with us all week is with us again this afternoon. It's partly to mostly sunny. It's warm, but at least the humidity is not that bad. The high in the mid-80s. Tonight, partly to mostly cloudy skies, very mild with a low in the low 60s. Tomorrow is mostly cloudy. It's a lot of thick upper-level clouds. And as we head into the evening, some showers and thunderstorms are possible, primarily in our northern counties. The high in the upper 70s to lower 80s. Showers and storms more likely on Sunday. I'm Mike Mays in the Weather Center.
Thanks very much, Mike. We're enjoying this beautiful, beautiful weather. I like it when you say the humidity is going to be low, too. 60 degrees right now, climbing up to 86 for a daytime high, dropping back to about where we are right now for the overnight low. Beautiful day in the neighborhood today. Tomorrow's Mayfest weather is going to be pretty nice, too, mostly cloudy. The scattered showers probably will be developing late in the afternoon, going through tonight, early Sunday morning, and a little shower activity possibly on Sunday. Right now, though, it is a beautiful, great getting up morning in the foothills, and 60 degrees. Congratulations to Andrew Hamilton of Forest City. Andrew was the lucky winner of the Daylight Donuts from Granny B's this morning. So congratulations, Andrew. We'll have that certificate right here for you. In the studio with me right now is Sheriff Chris Francis. Everybody knows he's the sheriff, and he's right here this morning to take his questions about the upcoming primary election. This will conclude our interview series. We've had them all in, and today, we welcome Sheriff Chris Francis. Good morning.
Good morning, Jim. I appreciate the opportunity to be here to talk to you today.
Glad to have you. Now, when we finish here, you got to head out for a torch run. Is that right?
The duties of the sheriff are never ending. Now, we have the opportunity to support Special Olympics. We do that every year. I've ran for years. Good reason for me to stay in shape. But I should be running 5 or 6 miles today in support of Special Olympics, trying to raise money to help those athletes. It's a great thing we do. And just ask those motorists to be careful when you see somebody running with a torch today. Just be careful. We should have some troopers assisting us with that.
Is it mostly law enforcement people or other folks involved as well? all?
The Special Olympics torch run is usually law enforcement officers. It'll be primarily law enforcement officers. We'll have each agency in the county will be represented. Each police department, as well as the highway patrol, will be leading us.
Let's get started with the interview and refresh our memory for our listeners, maybe new listeners along the way. Tell us a little bit about Chris Francis.
Well, I'm 43 years old. I'm from Rutherford County. I grew up Harrison-Ritter Road. I went to Chase High School, graduated there, and then I went to Ice Community College, received an associate's degree. Went on to Appalachian State University, where I received a Bachelor of Science in Criminal Justice. I married my high school sweetheart, Jill Bradley, now Jill Bradley Francis. We've been married for 21 years. We have two sons, Coleman and Caden. Coleman's 17, and Caden, Lord help us, turned 15, got his permit this week. So we're starting to driving with him. Been involved in law enforcement for over 21 years, over 22 years now. Time flies. Started out with the Avery County Sheriff's Office as a reserve deputy. Between my junior and senior year of college, I went to Mayland Community College and received my basic law enforcement training there. Then I went on to Hickory Police Department after I got out of college and received my degree at Appalachian. Stayed there for a few years, and of course marrying a Shiloh girl and really having an idea that I wanted to be the sheriff in Rutherford County from years back. I was happy and excited to be able to come back home to the Forest City Police Department, where I was a police officer there, a field training officer, and a first line supervisor. Then I had a good lieutenant by the name of Lamar Crisp at the sheriff's office who called me one night and talked to me about coming over to the sheriff's office. Well, it wasn't any hidden secret. I had 5 years experience at that point on the road that I wanted that opportunity to come to the sheriff's office. I had always lived in the county, not in a city here, and I really wanted that opportunity to be where I wanted to be, which was the sheriff's office. So I came over, was a deputy sheriff, had been a school resource officer at the sheriff's office, then became an investigator at the sheriff's office, then a child abuse investigator at the sheriff's office, and then after some time, at this point I had about 15 years of law enforcement experience, or just under. I went over to Lake Lure Police Department. I had left, really again wanting to be the sheriff of the county. Had seen some opportunities for improvement at the sheriff's office, and knew I couldn't work at the sheriff's office and run for sheriff. So I left to go to Lake Lure Police Department, where I was a lieutenant there, over the patrol division. I also did investigative work there. So in the last 8 years, 7.5 years, I've been the sheriff here in the county.
The rest is history, right?
Well, I just summed up a lot of years, but there's been a lot of experiences through those years. A lot of things learned.
What specific skills do you feel like you brought into the sheriff's department?
Well, I think communication skills has probably been the biggest asset. My ability to work with other agencies, my ability to work with both federal and state law enforcement, as well as working with our other local agencies, building those relationships. They've not always been what they are now. I like the fact that I can pick up my phone and have resources available that the sheriff's office can't have by itself. The same thing, other agencies can call the sheriff's office now, and in a moment we're working together, and things are happening that like a force multiplier. Those wouldn't happen otherwise. The other communication skills is interdepartment. I was able to change some things there at the sheriff's office, the structure of the sheriff's office, to where each division now communicates so much better, and the efficiency has risen because of the communication. It seems simple, and maybe it is, but it wasn't being done, and it needed to be done, and I saw that. That's one of the things, having worked at the sheriff's office and been able to observe, and other law enforcement, having worked at other police departments, and was able to see through those experiences what needed to happen. So I think that's one of the main things. I think my leadership skills have been huge. Setting examples, showing young men and women at the sheriff's office expectations, being able to have had the experiences, being able to have make cases, had homicide cases and rape cases and breaking and entering cases and larceny cases, and having been there as a road officer as well, but being able to lead and showing them how to do their job and how to improve themselves, how to get more training. Those type leadership skills, not being intimidated by by a person's education or thinking that they're going to get too much education or too much training, not being intimidated by that. I encourage that.
What improvements or additions have you made to the sheriff's department since you've been sheriff that you're proud of?
I'm very, very proud of raising the canines from 1 to 4. Those canines are a tremendous asset to the sheriff's office. I was able to do that. I've had some really good assistance in the community that's paid for those canines and the training. So at very little to no cost to the sheriff's office or the taxpayers of the county, we've been able to really put a hurting on those drug dealers in the county, because a canine is really an asset to getting a search warrant. That nose on that canine just does so much work that a deputy sheriff or a police officer can't do without it. So that's been huge. I've been able to take money that's been seized from asset forfeiture through drug seizures and drug tax money. I've been able to purchase 50 rifles for our deputy sheriffs. I've been able to purchase closer to 60 rifle-rated vests, and we continue to purchase more. Again, trying to take that tax burden off of our taxpayers and utilize that drug money, that either drug that's been asset forfeiture money or drug tax money, and put it in a position to help the deputy sheriffs help the citizens of the county. You know, we've been involved in 8 shootings since I've been sheriff. That's unfortunate experiences that I've had to learn from, but we have learned, and we'll continue to make the sheriff's office better. And those are the type of things that I'm proud that the deputy sheriffs have came to me when they're involved in a situation. Sheriff, I appreciate that. Appreciate the having the equipment that we need to handle these situations that was not there prior to me being sheriff.
What should the sheriff's office do to assure parents and teachers and students that our schools are going to be safe from hostility? Well,
another thing that I've done was create the GREAT program in the 5th grade. That's gang resistance education and training. That is at a great time in a student's life or a child's life. It's right before they enter middle school. It's in 5th grade. It's really talking about making good choices and anti-bullying. So I'm able to speak to every 5th grade parent that comes to those graduations. I'm able to explain to them what we're doing in the school systems. I also want to let our voters and our citizens know that we've been able to increase the amount of school resource officers since I've been sheriff. We've been able to get 1 extra elementary school SRO and I've been able to change the primary function of the one that we already had there to I now have got 2 school resource officers that their functions every day are to be in the elementary schools. I've also been able to get a school resource officer at Thomas Jefferson, as well as, they had one there at Lake Lure Classical Academy that they did not have one, and they're excited to have a sheriff's deputy working there full-time, who is a liaison between the sheriff's office. And I've also got an extra school resource officer at Islestone Community College. So I want parents to know that we have put the right people in place. They're not retired on duty officers. Many of these are on my CERT team. Many of these are firearms instructors, meaning that they're top-level, top-notch sheriff's deputies. They're trained well, and they're ready to answer any questions. I know there've been a lot of talk about the training that SROs receive. We've already been getting our SROs top training. Not only do our SROs train well, but they also train with the other sheriff's deputies and other police departments, the highway patrol, SBI agents, even probation officers we bring in to train with our men and women of law enforcement to make sure that they have the ability to respond in case there's any emergencies. So we have done a lot of preparation and forethought. Even though you want the worst never to happen, you have to prepare for it, and that's what we do at the sheriff's office.
How do you feel about teachers being armed?
I feel very, very cautious. I've been blessed to be married to a teacher for 21 years. My parents were both educators. The mentality is a little bit different between a law enforcement officer and an educator, and I've seen that firsthand, and I respect that. I've also been a school resource officer. I believe that if it's done, that it needs to be done to where no one else knows who that armed teacher is. I believe that besides administration and law enforcement, I believe that if if it's not handled appropriately, that teacher could be disarmed too easily. And I also believe that there's a lot of issues between law enforcement officers responding and not knowing who has that firearm. So I won't say it totally can't be done, but it really has to be looked at and done appropriately. I've been fortunate to be on the legislative committee for the North Carolina Sheriff's Association, and we've been talking about this for about 5 years. It's nothing new to me. It's not a new concept. And I hear attorneys talk about it. I hear other sheriffs talk about it, and other law enforcement officers talk about it. So when I speak, it's not coming a fly-by-night question. That's not the first time I've heard that question. I've been able to communicate with other law enforcement officials who have a lot of wisdom, a lot of experience, just as myself. And the Sheriff's Association is very cautious about that. So it can be done. I wouldn't disagree with it, but it would have to be done very, very carefully and very cautiously.
What kind of relationship do you have with other police areas, police officers in other municipalities, and what kind of relationship do you have with the district attorney's office?
I'll start with the district attorney's office. One of the great successes we've had at the sheriff's office since I've became sheriff is that open line of communication with the district attorney's office. Being able to go to them and talk about certain individuals in the county that are repeat offenders. You have to understand structured sentencing. You have to understand and utilize habitual felon status to its fullest. And we've been able to do that at the sheriff's office. And I think it's that relationship that I have with the police chiefs and with the district attorney's office to be able to go in and talk about who is our person of interest, who is the one who continues to hurt our neighborhoods. And that changes. You can't be stagnant. You have to stay up with times. You have to read reports. You have to have been here and know through experience what communities are experiencing what problems and who those offenders are. And that's the reason why we've been able to reduce crime so much. I said earlier at the beginning about being able to pick up the phone or being able to reach out to other law enforcement officers and be able to have full force multipliers. That is what we do. Not only do we do that with our police chiefs here, but again, I can reach out and have assistance just like other sheriffs can in neighboring counties. The relationship that I have with those sheriffs is amazing. We meet on a regular basis with McDowell County Sheriff. Henderson County Sheriff and I are extremely close. Polk County Sheriff and I have done a lot of things together. We were able to assist them last week. They've got a lot going on in Polk County with the equestrian center, so they reached out to us. We were able to assist them last weekend. It's ongoing. Cleveland County Sheriff and I are very, very close. We have a lot in common. It's amazing the sheriffs we have in Western North Carolina. Now, I have friends that are sheriffs all across North Carolina, but the Western North Carolina sheriffs are really, really a close-knit group. Being able to go to the Sheriff's Leadership Institute with Cleveland County Sheriff and McDowell County Sheriff was amazing. Those relationships just got closer and closer through that 4 weeks of training together. Sitting right beside him, McDowell County Sheriff. Of course, he was one of my instructors almost 23 years ago. Amazing man. His mom and my mom go to the same church. We're close. The police chiefs and I've worked with most of them firsthand as officers. Chief Jackson's not from here, but I worked with him at Hickory. He was an ALE officer, and I worked with him. I was a Hickory police officer while he was an ALE officer, and then he actually came to Hickory Police Department before I left Hickory Police Department. So I have worked firsthand with each of these police chiefs and have an ongoing relationship. Also, I've taught basic law enforcement training since 2000 at Islip Community College. So I've taught or been an instructor for most of the police officers, not only sheriff's deputies, but most of the police officers in the county. So I know them and have good relationships with many of them.
A couple of your opponents who are running say if they were elected, they would wear the uniform as sheriff all the time. How do you feel about that?
Well, I think everybody has their own opinion. I don't think everybody understands what the office of sheriff is, what the office of sheriff actually does. It's an amazing responsibility. Having been around, I would say easily 150 sheriffs in the last 8 years, and really going back further than that. I've worked for 3 sheriffs in Rutherford County and another sheriff there in Avery County. I know firsthand what a sheriff does on a day-to-day basis. My attire, my professional attire, doesn't hold me back from ever assisting any of my deputy sheriffs or being the first responding law enforcement officer on the scene. You can ask any of my deputy sheriffs, and they'll say, "Yeah, sheriff backs us up on calls. Sheriff has been the first one on man with gun calls." The deputies can tell you what I do. It's not uncommon for me to stop and assist a police officer. That doesn't work for me. It's not uncommon for me to assist any of those. But on a day-to-day basis, I believe my professional attire represents the sheriff's office in Rutherford County well.
We're running out of time quickly, but you have a hostage situation in an elementary school. What do you do as sheriff first?
Well, I'm going to be calling all my resources. We have got really good hostage negotiators. Unfortunately, we had an incident recently where we had 4 of my hostage negotiators called out in a very tense situation. We also had SBI hostage negotiators that responded to the scene, as well as Cleveland County hostage negotiator responded to the scene. And I would just like to say that the SBI agent said, "Sheriff, I would like to take what we've learned through your experience and take it back and train more SBI hostage negotiators." So I'm going to have the right people in place. I've got a CERT team that would be called out immediately. You'd have to think these situations through. You can't make a decision that would hurt somebody. You have to think about all your resources, and you have to concentrate on them. We've got good team leaders. My chief deputy has been on the team for years. My captain's been on the team for years, and my lieutenant, who's doing the training, has been on the team for years. So I feel confident we've got the right equipment, the right training. We don't want to ask for that situation ever, but we want to reduce casualties. We want to get the right people and there as quick as possible. You know, another thing, talking about the pre-planning, we've been training with our firemen and our EMS, and we learn, unfortunately, learn from Virginia Tech. When you're able to take in those first responders into a warm environment, not a hot zone, but a warm environment, meaning that it's been cleared. We believe that we have all those responsible for the danger taken out, but we're not 100% sure. We've not spent hours upon hours, but we're going in with those medics and medically trained people, and we're taking out those who have been wounded. We can reduce casualties. So there's a lot of it. It's pre-planning, Jim. A lot of it is, and that's what we're doing. That's what we've done.
Sheriff, we run out of time, but we always give the candidate the last word. So anything you want to say to the audience that we haven't discussed, or anything else you want to say?
Jim, I appreciate that opportunity. I just want to say I have lived my entire life to be in this position. The experiences that I've had prior to being the sheriff, being a police officer, working day shift and night shift, being a field training officer, teaching others how to do the job firsthand, being able to be a school resource officer, those experiences, those are irreplaceable. Being an investigator, again, working the types of cases that I've worked, being able to successfully have cases prosecuted by the district attorney's office, understanding our Constitution is amazing. Understanding the limitations that are placed on us, which I appreciate our Constitution, and I instruct my deputy sheriffs on a regular basis how to uphold that Constitution, because I believe in our rights. The experiences that I had prior to being sheriff, being in administration prior, were amazing. But being the sheriff for the last 8 years, the experiences that I've had with personnel decisions, budget decisions, those can't be replaced. I bring stability to the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office. I bring stability to Rutherford County. I believe in improving the life of our citizens of Rutherford County. So I ask for support on May the 8th. I also ask support for today and tomorrow. You can still early vote. And I hope that everyone will come out to Mayfest. You've given us a wonderful weather report. So I believe that people should be able to come down, fellowship with us, eat with us, ask us questions, and enjoy Mayfest this year. I go every year, and this year's going to be special.
Sheriff Chris Francis, my guest this morning, running for re-election for sheriff. I appreciate your time today.
Thank you for the opportunity, sir.
Now you go run.
I got to go change. I don't want to be running torch running this. I need to go change.
Here is Officer King now with that sheriff's report. Following that, Word of Faith Fellowship will be in the studio to give their side of the story. Here now is Officer King.
In the past 24 hours, the Sheriff's Department responded to 178 calls for service. There were 8 arrests processed in the jail, and the jail currently has 179 people incarcerated. On our incident reports, Tonda Young from Fish Camp Road in Forest City reported a case of attempted larceny and vandalism. It was vandalism to a pontoon boat. Damage was valued at $1,500. Robert Jones from Butternut Lane in Rutherford reported larceny of a firearm. Andrea Boyce from Maplewood Drive in Rutherford reported damage to personal property, damage to her car. And Gary Green reported a felony larceny from Hardy Drive in Rutherford. It was a New Holland tractor valued at $9,000. On our arrest reports, Amanda Smith from McGregor Street in Forest City was served with 2 counts failure to appear on misdemeanor, received a $1,000 secured bond. Prima Benson from Davis Road in Forest City was arrested and charged with impeding traffic, received a $1,000 secured bond. Ricky Jackson from Forest Ford Road in Forest City was served with criminal summons for injury to personal property and cyber stalking. Miranda Grigg from Emerald Hill in Forest City was arrested and charged with possession of Schedule II controlled substance, possession of drug paraphernalia, and another count of possession of Schedule II controlled substance. Received a $10,000 unsecured bond. Marcus Wilkins from Emerald Hill Drive in Forest City was also arrested and charged with possession of Schedule II controlled substance. Received a $20,000 secured bond. Deborah Howe from Westside